Hello, one and all, and welcome to the arguably awesome podcast. I'm your host, A Card, and it's just a solo podcast today, episode 4, baby. Sometimes there will be solo podcasts to fill the void of other podcasts while you're waiting for the next one. So yes, there'll be some solo podcasts every now and again, or just some random video uploads reviewing something or just talking about whatever, like I did a couple times. So today, can you guess what we're talking about? We're going to venture through the wardrobe into the land of Narnia. And this is a map of Narnia. This is actually pretty cool. Very detailed. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about Narnia, the book series, the TV made movies, which didn't finish the series, and the movies that didn't even finish the series. It's kind of, but I guess Netflix is working on doing their own series. Now, I don't know if this is going to be remaking the movies and continuing the movies that take place after Silver Chair, because Silver Chair was the last one for TV made movies by the BBC. So maybe they're just going to reboot the whole thing and start from scratch and do all 7 books. I don't know. Or they could do an anthology, because Star Wars has been doing anthologies, doing shows and movies about, like, in between sequels and trilogies. You know what I mean? So this could be a totally made up thing, because they did buy the rights from the C.S. Lewis estate, or the rights are going to expire soon. I don't know how it works. I don't know. I'm not some geek about it, but yeah. So let's start off. Let's go through the wardrobe together today on the arguably awesome podcast. Welcome back. So, I was introduced to the world of Narnia back in 2000, 2001. I think it was 2000, 99, 2000. I was in 3rd grade. I went to Columbia Christian Elementary here in Portland, Oregon. Now, my teacher, God bless her, and all the other teachers I had at Columbia, they are so memorable, and so are my high school teachers. Middle school, a few. Mostly elementary and high school, I hold the teachers near and dear to my heart. And I met up with this teacher who introduced me to the series back in March. Her name was Mrs. Hout. Bless her. Still the same. She hasn't aged a bit, it seems, in the last 20 years. Amazing. The youth, right? Youthful. Yeah. She introduced it to us. I didn't know what it was. She would draw the images from the 1973 printing, which was the second printing of the original books. She would amplify those images and turn them into posters. She would draw these and then laminate them, put them on the wall in the classroom. And at circle time on the carpet, where the books were that kids could read, we would all gather, and she would start with book 1. And she started doing this in the late 90s and did it all the way up to the mid 2010s, or maybe even the late 2010s, because she had just retired and now she's doing part-time. God bless her for doing this. Seriously, bless this woman. Teachers work so hard, and she wasn't getting paid much, as all teachers do, or don't, I should say. I'm a teacher myself, so I can totally relate with her and the stresses of being a teacher and the rewards of being a teacher. Please pay your teachers more, state. But yeah, we met up with her, we caught up, we talked about that, and now that brings me to here. So she had the original 1973 second printings of the Chronicles of Narnia. And I was like, I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic. And earlier this year, I looked online, and man, it was hard to find an original copy that came in the box case that holds all 7 books in a near mint condition. Because that was over 50 years ago now. So it's really hard to find this. Oh, it's almost 50 years. Yeah, no. Yeah, almost 50 years next year that this was re-released. I found it $35, baby, used, Amazon. I'm going to show you a link where you can buy your own copy. The Chronicles of Narnia. You got that awesome early 70s artwork by C.S. Lewis. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. The box is, I mean, it looks old, but man, it's good condition. I'm loving it. And here's the books. Oh, look at the colors. So 70s. So 70s, dude, for real. Man, so let's start. So before we dig into this, what is the Chronicles of Narnia? Well, let's find out. I could explain it to you, but I don't want to flub. The Chronicles of Narnia is a series of 7 fantasy books by British author C.S. Lewis, who's very well established. You know, Narnia, we don't talk religion, we don't talk politics on this podcast, but I would like to just say that Narnia is heavily religious in dealing with the Bible. But if you're not religious, it's also a great fantasy series, religion aside. Same with Christmas. You don't have to be religious to celebrate Christmas. Christmas can have its own meaning in so many different ways. So that's the great thing about these books. So he was a Christian author, worked at a university, and wrote these books throughout his tenure in that university. And he became so popular at that school after doing the first book and the second book. So, C.S. Lewis, illustrated by Pauline Baynes, great artwork, originally published between 1950 to 1956. So, 6 years, 7 books. So, 1 year, you got 2 books. You were double the fantasy fun. Chronicles of Narnia had been adapted for radio, television, stage, film, and video games. Wait, what? We have to look this up on YouTube later. Chronicles of Narnia video games? Okay. The series is set in the fictional realm of Narnia, a fantasy world of magic, mythical beasts, and talking animals. It narrates the adventures of various children, who are 4 siblings, that go through a wardrobe at their uncle's house, escaping a current World War II era in the UK. Yeah, so central roles in the unfolding history of Narnia world. Narnian, see, there's a Narnian. Are you Narnian? I'm not Narnian. I want to go to Narnia, and maybe I could apply to be a Narnian citizen. Yeah, you never know. Shit, people can be furries nowadays. Why can't I be a Narnian? Except in The Horse and His Boy, the protagonists are all children from the real world who are magically transported to Narnia, where they are sometimes called upon by the lion Aslan. And if you're religious, you know, it's obviously Jesus. It was Aslan. But yeah, to protect Narnia from evil. The books span the entire history of Narnia, from its creation in The Magician's Nephew to its eventual destruction in the last battle. But there are 7 books. There was also an unofficially almost published book, which you can buy, very limited and rare and expensive now, called The Stone Table, which takes place between one of the books. We're going to dive into that at the end. So, The Chronicles of Narnia is considered a classic of children's literature and is C.S. Lewis's best-selling work, having sold over 100 million copies in 47 languages. Not surprised. It's a great series. So, yeah, given that, you know, over the years, there's been a great debate and reprintings of the book series in the order that they weren't originally printed in. Because I have this book, and they're numbered. See, there's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7. But in the reprinting, let me show you. Now, I'm slowly but currently rereading the series, and I'm currently on Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So in these reprintings, the 3rd book is labeled as number 5. See that 5? And these other numbers, which tell you the number it is. Because if you know anything about Narnia, after Voyage of the Dawn Treader, it starts going like before the 4 siblings, after, in between. So it's like, what? When we were read the stories by my teacher, Mrs. Hout, she read them in order. Not in the order that the story starts. You know what I mean? So it says book 1 is The Magician's Nephew. Book 2 is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So Magician's Nephew talks about how this all happened, how the wardrobe got in that house. and how the White Witch came to be the White Witch. And then the third book would be The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and then The Last Battle, which the last book never changed. So yeah, I recommend reading them in the original order they were published. And then if you want to get crazy about it, you can do it in the order that people say you should read it in, starting with The Magician's Nephew. So you can see how Narnia and the White Witch came to be, and then how the children were introduced to it after that. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this artwork. This is from like this is like from the mid 90s, this printing. But I have that one so I can bend the pages on it and not bend the pages to this one. So my point in showing this is, let's look at the artwork. Oh, we even have a map. So we'll look at that later. I looked at that map from 1973, a great illustration, expensive to buy, and it's huge. It's like a poster. So here we have the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Great 70s art. You can't go wrong. And it has the original artwork from the original printing in the books. Like, you know, what's a good one that I could show you right here? So here's the White Witch. There she is right there, and all that original artwork. So yeah, that's the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And then here's Prince Caspian. So if you're listening to the podcast, I recommend going on YouTube to watch the visual video so you can see this artwork. It's truly amazing, something to behold. And I'm glad I found these books. Mint condition, no creases on the spine. Look at that. Nothing. Can we get a good, maybe I should get behind it. So it can, no, it's not going to happen. But there's no crease on the spine, no bends. And here is the Voyage of the Dawn Treader right here. Now, that is awesome that we can get these books in such great condition. Practically brand new. I would say this is 98.9% mint. Silver Chair. The Horse and His Boy. That's a great picture right there. Come on, Aslan in the Starry Night. If you're a nostalgic freak or a hippie, you'd be jealous right now. Get your copy. You can still get these before they become really expensive. Because I bet you when the Netflix series come out, this is going to boost up in price. So I'm glad that I have this. And then The Last Battle. Stars Through the Door. It is a magical world. I would say this is as popular and right up there with Star Wars, The Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, and Harry Potter. That's how well known around the world, internationally, better to say, Narnia is. I mean, come on. It's not rocket science. I'm Biden. I mean, he comes up with some great quotes, doesn't he? And here is, this is the map that I have in the background. I printed it off, taped it together. Oh no, it's one page. I didn't tape it together. But yeah, here's an Narnia map. Just something fun to throw in there. And then here's the original map that I tried to look online to buy that is actually poster size. My teacher had, Miss Hout, referencing, name dropping, has in her classroom, or had. So this is the 1973 map that came out with the publishing of the books that I have. Oh, it's just so fun. And sorry about the green screen disturbance. If you're watching the video, you can definitely see what I'm talking about. It's just great. I love that 70s, 60s artwork because they were so detailed back then with stuff like this. It's great. But yeah, besides that, it's a magical world that you get to see. Now, if you read them out of order, in the written order that shows how everything started to how everything ends, instead of the original order that they were published in, then you can definitely see this magical world of just things unfolding, fantasy. It's pretty bizarre. I don't know how this guy came up with that back in the late 40s and 50s. It's just, it's something to behold, to really think about. If you read Alice in Wonderland and books that were written in the 1800s, like, wow, where do these people come up with this imagination back then? You didn't have technology, you didn't have TV, you didn't have phones, you didn't have internet, and you just were inspired by life and nature and things that were around you at that time. It's great. So moving on, in 1988 to 1990, there was a BBC produced a 4-part film series. Now, why didn't they do all 7? We'll get into. It was called, bluntly, The Chronicles of Narnia. Can we get it in there? Can we show it without that glare? I'm sorry, there's a glare. But it's Chronicles of Narnia, BBC. So they produced The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in 88, Prince Caspian in 89, and I think The Voyage of the Dawn Treader and The Silver Chair in 90. Or it could have been the other ones that were filmed the same year. So the C.S. Lewis enchanting tale comes to life in this classic BBC adaptation. Now, it was a mini-series, so it would go on for a few days that you'd be watching this during the week or the weekend. I don't know when it was showing, but yeah, so it's like hours upon hours. Like, how many hours is this? Does it say? I don't think it says. Oh, 513 minutes approximately. And it is not stereo, region 1, but you can buy it in any region, really. Yeah, 4 discs. I mean, you got that one, and it even comes with behind the scenes on how they did the first one, which is awesome. It's like about 30 minutes long, I think. Maybe not even, maybe 15. I don't remember. But I watched it. I love behind the scenes stuff, but you can only get it on Blu-rays nowadays, unfortunately. And they had a 2003 reunion with the cast. So that was great. And then we got the movies. Oof, the movies. The movies, a great modern reboot. What started in 2005, went all the way to 2009 or something. And then they stopped after that. I thought it was great that they were able to do more given CGI and technology had advanced since the late 80s, early 90s, especially because it was a TV movie. But I love the realism that the BBC brought, which brings me to why they only did 4 of the books instead of 7. First of all, after The Silver Chair, it gets a little bit more religious, so they were probably a little weary of that, and they didn't want to involve religion too much because, you know, not everybody's religious. Not everybody agrees with everything, and that's fine. I have no qualms with anybody. I'm open. I love everybody. But I would have loved to see them finish the series. And on blogs, I searched immensely on this before doing this video. There's a lot of people in the blog saying they wish they did and that there's a bit of a religion thing, but it's also money, budget. Aslan was the most expensive robotic thing to finance and put together in that series. Think about it. They did hours and hours of recording. 4 parts. Animatronic. That Aslan moved fluidly. It was a very fluid movement for that character. That was the most advanced animatronic for a TV-made movie and probably a movie in general from the UK ever. And it was very expensive to keep that maintained because then there'd be eye malfunctions, mouth malfunction, just the whole thing would malfunction in general because, you know, it was robotic. And back then, you know, you could only do so much to keep that thing working, unlike nowadays where everything's CGI or it's advanced robotics. And I'm glad they're bringing realism and practical effects back. I mean, it's never really gone, but it's coming back even more now since people really cherish those things when it comes to movie making. But yeah, he was the most expensive thing. So it probably wasn't too much of the religious part of the books as it progressed in the series, as it became more, you know, obvious. But it's more of paying to have Aslan not malfunction so much and to keep him moving because, you know, he only has so much screen time in the films. And even in the books, you know, you ever see him every now and then in Prince Caspian. Yeah. But yeah, I really wish they would have continued the series, but I'm glad they did 4 because it only goes to 3 on the silver screen from 2005 to 2009. The 2009 storyline, you know, was good, but I wish they wouldn't cut so much out because it really takes away from it. I love the actors that were in it. It was great to see it on the big screen. So I'm interested to see where Netflix goes with this Narnia thing. If it's going to be a reboot, doing all 7 movies into a series, or is it going to be an anthology, like taking like an anthology about the White Witch or the what's that sheep goat guy? Oh my gosh, I'm going blank right now. I should know all these characters' names. Mr. Tumnus. I didn't. I'm blurry. Oh no, don't dissolve me. I swear I didn't do it on purpose. But yeah, Mr. Tumnus, at the lamppost where he meets Lucy. They either do an anthology on him, or maybe they'll do an anthology, like just a mini series about the creatures of Narnia. I mean, basically, it's not going to be people who are outside of Narnia. If it's an anthology series or a mini series about characters outside of Narnia or in between film books, then it's probably going to be based on characters or stuff like. I highly think they're going to do the White Witch in some way if it's going to be an anthology. Now there's video games. Let's look and see what the hell this video game thing is about. So let me open up YouTube. You know what? I cannot share YouTube. I don't want to get demonetized or copyright strike for using somebody else's video. So let's look up Narnia video games. Let's see what pops up here. There was a Narnia. Wow, there's a Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe game for PS2. Wait. Prince Caspian, was that also for the PS2? Narnia, Prince Caspian is an action-adventure video game developed by what? For what system? Oh, PlayStation 2. So it looks like they did 2 Narnia games for the PS2. Let me share this. So here we have. So that was for the Xbox, GameCube, PlayStation 2, and maybe handhelds like Game Boy or something. So it looks like, so we do images, we can do videos. So it looks like, was this game worth playing? I kind of want to watch a trailer. I'm going to watch a trailer, but I'm not going to share the video because I don't want to get demonetized and a copyright strike, as I mentioned. But let's look at through some of these screenshots since we can't share the video. Wow, I might post a trailer link for the video and links to the place where you can buy the books for this. Oh, wow. Okay. It actually might look interesting. It almost looks like how the Harry Potter games did graphics-wise and whatnot, especially this yellow boobing right here for magic spells that you would see in the PS2 Harry Potter games. It almost looks like, I wonder if the same company did it. Who did it? Let's see. It was done by Disney. Oh, well, then, but that doesn't mean they couldn't have used the same people who did the Harry Potter games to do this, so. Wow. Okay, we got a big ass giant right there. Okay, and how is the system working? So you got your health on top. It shows you what you tells, like it shows you when a character's gonna attack. But where's your health bar? There's like a compass or something there. Okay, so here's the health bar. Okay, pretty simple. Maybe I should look into watching some live footage. You know what? Let's do that right now. So I wonder if there were video games though for other systems back in the 80s or something. Video game trailer. So let me type that in. Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe game trailer, YouTube. So I'm going to stop sharing here and I'm going to do a reaction video to the gameplay. Let's see what it is for a second. And yeah, see how this is going to play out. All right, let's play it. I'm watching this trailer uploaded by Ancient Legends SRB. 14.9 thousand subscribers. And this video has 14,205 views, uploaded on January 4th, 2016. So he might have some other cool videos to check out. Okay, they're just showing clips of the movie. Okay, finally, how many seconds? It took about 30 seconds to get into seeing actual game footage. Enter the world of Narnia. Okay, it shows you player one, all this. Okay, graphics. Don't look bad, like for the cinematic parts, don't look bad. Okay, battle side by side with the characters. Okay, gameplay actually looks pretty good. It looks just as good as the graphics did for the Harry Potter PS2 games. At least after Chamber of Secrets. Chamber of Secrets and the first one were kind of cartoony, and after that, they kind of got more realistically, graphically oriented. Okay. I could do this. Unique collaborations. So it's like you can go on people's shoulders, ride their like piggyback ride style, pull a little Lucy along, slide her across if she needs to get across somewhere. Spin attack. Oh man, okay. Defeat the White Witch and free Narnia. So how would the White Witch battle go? Oh, I might have to go on Amazon and buy these games. And if you want PS2 games or games in general, they're pretty cheap. I just bought Crazy Taxi, so that came about under $10, and it's in almost near mint. The color on the artwork casing is a little faded, given it's what from 2000 2001. But yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out. Let's see. All right, so we got the video game. That was pretty cool. Let me see here. So far, we've covered the books, the TV miniseries, and the movies, and the forgotten video games. We should call that forgotten video games. Me and Airflow will have to do a podcast about forgotten video games and TV and movie made games. Now let's go on to something a little different. I mentioned there was an 8th book unofficially almost published. So it was called The Stone Table. Let me share that with you. Where is it? So the stone table. What is the stone table? Well, first of all, the stone table was a great slab of rock, like a square or a circle, on 4 small rock pillars located in the central Narnian mainland. The table was created by Aslan's father before the beginning of the world. You can see where the religious aspects get into this, but that's fine, given go into the fantasy aspect. Take out the religion. Shortly after Aslan had returned Diggory Kirk and Polly Plummer to Earth, apparently the Narnian Council was led away from the Lantern Waste, and once more gathered at the table where they had a meeting to be explained the laws of Narnia. Did I butcher the English language in that last sentence? I think I did. Anyway, the stone table was also the slab where the White Witch killed Aslan. He gave himself up to sacrifice himself so he'd come back even stronger and undefeatable, pretty much. And the White Witch, being an ignorant as she is, what an idiot, more like the white bitch, thought she could overturn and defeat him once he comes back. And somehow she went away with it. They had a meeting and everything at the stone table. I was like, what is this dumb bitch doing? But yeah, so that was that. And the stone table plays other prominent roles. But to get into it, let me screen share with you for all those watching the video and go into how the 8th book, The Stone Table, plays a part in the Chronicles of Narnia. The C.S. Lewis estate did not want this published. They said after the last battle, it's over. But he did agree that if anybody wanted to write any books about Narnia in general, that don't have to do with any of the characters continuing after the last battle, book 7, he was definitely fine with that. So the fact that the stone table uses characters like Lucy, Edmund, and all 4 of them, they didn't want that because owed to their father. But this book is owed to the love and work of C.S. Lewis. So the irony of it being that you want to make this book about these characters, tell a story about the stone table that hasn't been told in more detail. But at the same time, you don't want to, you know what I'm saying. So Spufford says that he was deeply passionate, involved in the Narnia book series as a child, and he'd always wanted there to be more novels. Not that he had a specific gap in mind, he just wanted to stay in the Narnia a little longer. So I thought the stone table took place after, but it takes place where? So there's a gap in history between The Magician's Nephew and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. This would be a great spot for the stone table, he says. Why? Well, obviously, if you've read both books, you can tell why. There's a lot that could happen in between that gap. And there's not many gaps in between the other books that you could fill, but this one would be a good one. Unless you want to do spin-offs that the estate would allow, I think, but I could be wrong. But yeah, if you can get a hold of the unauthorized, unpublished book Now, I know some people have got it somehow on a PDF. If you can find it, please DM me on Instagram or in the Facebook group, or leave a comment below on YouTube. Tell me where I can get it. Email it to me, something. I want to read this book. I'm so curious. Thanks for listening. Episode 4, The Chronicles of Narnia. Digging, maybe I should call it Digging Deep into Narnia. That might be a good title. Too cliche if I say The Chronicles of Narnia. But yeah, I hope you all had a great time. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Is that cliche? I say that. I hate saying that. But yeah, go on Apple Podcasts, scroll down, give us a 5-star rating. Help us get noticed by other listeners who might be interested in the topics we talk about and share with y'all. You can find us on all social medias and all major podcast streaming platforms. Just type in on all those things, Arguably Awesome Podcast. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Discord, Patreon. If you want to give a little donation to help us out, upgrade our equipment, because I'm just using an HD camera and an old laptop from 2011. And Zoom. And I need a microphone because I'm using the camera mic. Not that it's horrible, but you know, Eric has this bomb ass one. I'm so jelly. But yeah, thank you. And this has been Arguably Awesome Podcast. See you next time.